If you're a young Jamaican footballer and your goal is England, Europe, or the MLS, I want you to listen and listen carefully. Not everything I'm about to say will sound exciting. However, everything I'm about to say is real. A lot of players have talent. That's not the issue. The issue is readiness, and readiness is what clubs abroad are actually paying for. In this video on Guntertainment, what I will be doing is I'll be going through a checklist that I think all Jamaican players, especially young players whose dreams are to get a contract abroad, playing in one of those top leagues, then I think it's very important that you guys listen to this checklist if you want to keep those dreams alive. And make sure you watch until the end because number 7 is very important. With no further ado, let's jump into the video. So first up on the list is identity. In other words, know your role. Now, before you think about scouts, agents, or trials, the first thing you need to do is have clarity. Not hype, not versatility, but clarity. You may ask yourself questions like, what position do I truly play? You need to figure out that the position in which you truly play, or your strongest position. Is it centre back? Is it central midfield? Is it a striker? And more importantly, you need to know what you can do consistently. What are the problems that you are able to solve on the football field? What problems can I solve on the football field? If you can't explain this in one sentence, then you have a lot of work to do, because that is where it really starts. Most clubs don't recruit potential stars, they recruit solution. So you have to be able to solve a problem in those teams. If you're able to do that, then your chances of being selected or getting a contract improve tremendously. Next on the list is football IQ. Thinking the game fast. So if you want to play abroad, the game has to slow down in your head. Scanning, decision making, knowing when to play, one touch, two touch, keeping the game in a simple manner. Because the players who keeps the game simple will always be trusted over the ones that are very flashy or tricky. So get that in your head. You have to know when to keep the game simple. When you have to develop certain habits of scanning before you get the ball. And of course, decision making make it the player. Number 3, defending. So if you guys don't know by now, when it comes on to Europe or anywhere else in the world, doesn't matter where you go to play football, defending is non-negotiable. Gone are the days where teams are carrying players. You have a creative number 10. They may be are a skillful, tricky winger. Back in the days, teams will carry those players, but in these modern times in football, those things no longer happen. Those players are really faded out in most cases, because the intensity and the pressure and the tempo of the game is so high now that teams are unable to carry a player who doesn't tackle or who doesn't know how to defend. So essentially, if you don't defend, then you don't play. It's simple as that. It doesn't matter if you're a winger, a number 10, a striker, abroad, everyone has to work. Everyone has to put in their share of work on the football pitch. And of course, effort without discipline, it's just noise. But discipline creates careers. Number 4, physicality. Now, the physical truth is the level abroad is way faster, way higher. It's heavier, more contacts, more games, and less rest. Being fit isn't enough. You have to be durable because durability is currency abroad. So being fit alone won't cut it to go and expand your footballing career. You have to be durable. You have to be the type of player that can play over 40 games in a season, up to 60 games in a season. Yes, you might pick up a one injury every now and again, but you have to be durable. You have to be able to last months, years. It's very important that you get it in your head, the mindset of being physical, because it's going to be tough, it's going to be physical, it's probably going to be cold, a weather that you're not used to. So these things are very important you keep in the back of your mind and have to be mentally ready and prepare for these stuff if you want to go abroad and further your footballing career. All right, moving on to number 5, consistency. One good game won't change your life. However, 6 solid performances in a row will. It definitely will. Because you have to remember that on the bigger stage, you're not just competing against Jamaicans, you're competing against players from Europe, players from Africa, players from South America. So you have to be consistent. Being consistent might just give you the edge over being the next one to get a contract, being able to get picked, you know. So it's very important that you work on your consistency. Don't just show up on a one-off game and then disappear. No, you have to be consistent. So try to put together at least 6 performances, high level, very consistent in a row, and your chances of going abroad will also improve. You have to remember that scouts do not fall in love with moments. They trust patterns. That is very important. You guys remember that. Next on the list, number 6, and that is professionalism. When we talk about professionalism, we're talking about how you conduct yourself on and off the field. So, sleeping, nutrition, timekeeping, your attitude. These are very important habits to have. And if you don't have them, it's very important that you guys quickly start developing these types of habits, because clubs don't just watch how you play, they watch how you live. Talent might open the door, but good habits decides how long you stay. And now to the final thing that's on the list, and that is choosing the right first step. Now, this is very important. Not everyone will be able to make it to England, make it to Europe, or make it to one of the top 5 leagues in Europe. And that's okay, because sometimes the smartest moves are those moves that allow you to keep playing, the moves that allow you to get a lot of game time under your belt, especially at a young age. You need to be playing consistently, non-stop playing more football. You need to be playing as much as possible. because these are your developing years, these are developing stage, and you cannot improve unless you are playing, making mistakes, learn from them, improving and improving. So it's very important that your first step, the first move, is the right one, because that will set the bar on how far or how long your career might last. So you don't need to aim solely on the top five leagues. There are many leagues that are not considered top five in the world. However, these are good leagues that you can go and play foot, and you can go and play your football there. And once you are consistent, then the top five leagues, they will be start looking in and start, and you just keep, you just need to keep knocking on the door, knocking on the door, and who knows, you might just end up with that big move that you initially wanted to get. We're talking about countries like Belgium, countries like Scotland, countries like even Poland, the MLS Next Pro. These are leagues that it's okay if you're able to get a contract to go and play in one of these leagues. Places like Portugal, I think those leagues are very high level leagues, and you can develop once you're playing consistent and regularly. Then these are leagues that you can be able to develop your football, and eventually making it to one of those top five leagues in the world. So the first move is about learning how to handle big man football. Zine, so that move is very important and might decide the rest of your career, as I alluded earlier. Ego rushes careers, but patience build them. So it's very important that the first move that you make is the right move for you. If you remember one thing from this video, remember this: talents get attention, reliability builds careers. If you're serious about football, focus on being useful, dependable, coachable, and remember, don't just train harder, train smarter. That's how opportunities come, and that's how they last. So save this checklist and share it with anyone you think need to hear this. And don't forget to like, subscribe to Gun Entertainment, where we talk about football honestly. And I hit that for me. I'm out.